Hey everybody, I am super excited to do this video because it's been over a month since I've done my last video, and this is going to be the #1 video for my grow light series. And I've been putting it off for a while, but that's because I had Christmas and I also had to put the grow lights together on the shelf in the house and a lot of other things. But the point is I'm about to start now, and here we go. And you're probably wondering, why am I in the greenhouse? Well, #1, I want to show you some stuff that I'm going to put under the grow lights. And so I'll show you that here after I get done talking about the grow light stuff. #2, while I'm talking about grow light specifications, I'm just gonna roam around the greenhouse and kind of show you some different things. And FYI, I have not watered a bunch of stuff, so if you see something horrible, just forgive me. And then #3, I do want to give you a few updates on some things that I've done as far as the plants that I beheaded and some plants that got damaged by the alcohol. So anyway, let's go ahead and get started. So as far as grow lights, what I want to talk about are kind of two main things, really. I want to talk about lumens and I want to talk about Kelvin. So when you are looking at a grow light, there are a couple things that you want to look at as far as specifications, and one of them is lumens. Now, lumens is an easy way of describing it would be the total amount of visible light that you see with your eye, or it could be just the power of the light or the brightness or whatever. Basically, it's power. So lumens sounds like a good thing. It sounds like you want a ton. Now, the other thing is Kelvin. And you might think that's temperature, but actually Kelvin is the color of the light. So, you know, light has a whole spectrum of different colors, and so certain colors do certain things to plants. So we want to know what the Kelvin is so we can know how our plants do under that. And with Kelvin, you know, you have the warm colors and the cool colors and all that. Oh my gosh, you guys know that I have a problem with picking off dry leaves. But anyway, I have not been out here in a while, so you guys please forgive me for all the maintenance that needs to be done. But anyway, so we're going to talk about lumens and kelvins. And honestly, the other thing is watts. And watts is something I really don't care too much about, but watts is power consumption, and it really depends on if you're using LEDs or T5s or whatever. So I'm not really concerned about watts. I'm actually more concerned with lumens or Kelvin. And we have a little guest in the house. Nico, hi. Anyway, we've got a little guest who decides to come visit me every now and then. But anyway, let's talk about lumens first. So lumens, there is something that they say, and some people say it's a myth. But basically with lumens, they say that if it's decreased, then you're going to have decreased blooms, and if it's increased too much, then you're going to have increased growth. But honestly, a lot of people say that the higher the lumens, the better. And remember, lumens is a total amount of visible light, or we could also kind of call it light power. And so a lot of websites you will see will say the higher the lumens, the better. And when I was learning about grow lights, that's actually what I learned, is just get the highest lumens you can. So do I know what I'm talking about? Not really, not with the lumens or any of these. I'm not an expert in grow lights. I'm just gonna tell you what I've learned, and I will accept constructive criticism because I'm not an expert on grow lights. I'm just gonna show you what I've learned, and also I'm gonna do an experiment on 3 different grow lights, and you'll see them in the next clip. But for right now, I'm going to tell you what I know about kelvins, and I'm going to tell you what I know about lumens. So lumens, power, Kelvin is a color. Now, some people say that you need more blue or more red or both of those, full spectrum, whatever. So as far as I'm concerned, the first thing I read was that the more lumens you have, the better. And so when I bought grow lights, that's exactly what I did. I looked for very high lumens, and I bought several like that, and we're gonna see what happens. So As far as Kelvin, you know, we talked about that as the color of the light, you know, because we have a full spectrum everywhere from red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet, all that. So if you have a lot of, if your Kelvin numbers are high, that's going to be 36 to 5500, and those are the cool colors. And then 2700 to 3000, 2700 to 3000, those are more of the warm colors. There's a really pretty Mediba. Sorry, I got distracted. But anyway, watts, like I said, it's your power consumption, and it really is not super important, at least not to me right now. But maybe it will be after this experiment. I'm just not sure. But that's kind of a brief explanation of what those mean. So I'm going to show you the 3 different lights that I have in the house, and I've got 3 different lights. I will tell you where I got them. I will tell you how much they cost, what the lumens are, what the Kelvin is, or at least what I think it is, and then we will go over each one. And the cool thing is for every light, I'm going to pick 3 plants to go under each one. And I'm going to try to give you guys updates every 3 weeks so we can see which plants do the best and which ones don't do as well, and then that can help you make your choice as to what you might like. And of course, it's only 3, so I'm definitely not experimenting with all of them, but these were just 3 that I found when I was looking for grow lights in the house. And so let me go ahead, and I feel like I've said everything I need to say about the lumens and the Kelvin, but there's a couple other things I wanted to show you while I'm still out here. Here's some of my propagations, and from my really old video about propagating from leaves, these are all the ones that are still left in that container, but almost everything else I've pulled out and they've gotten really big. So anyway, for those of you guys who have been watching me for a long time, that's what those are. So anyway, the other things I want to tell you, number 1, I did a video not too long ago where I had a big Echeveria gibiflora violacina, and I thought she had mycoplasma or mycoplasmosis. So I beheaded her, and now this is her. She is putting out pups. None of them look sick. They look wonderful. So I really can't wait until they get a little bit bigger, and then I'm going to cut them off. So there is at least 3, and actually that pulled right off. So you know about me pulling off the dry leaves. So anyway, that is that one. And then the other thing I wanted to show you is what I'm going to put under my grow lights. So right here, I have a line of plants, and each plant, I've got 3 of each. So each one is going to go under one of the grow lights. So just starting off, I tried to pick ones that look very, very similar. So we've got Echeveria Heart Delights in the first row. These are raindrops, and you guys remember from my last video, they got damaged from the alcohol. However, you can see the new growth looks really good. So that's why you see all this black right there. So I'm gonna pick my damaged raindrops because they all look very similar. Then I've got these Aeonium kiwis, and you can tell they are super thirsty, but I thought I'd try to pick 3 that looked similar. So all 3 are very thirsty. Here are some Agavoides Mirandas. Got some Purpusorums. Yeah, they're really thirsty too. You can see how floppy they are, and remember in my watering video, you can tell how thirsty they are based on the floppiness. So they should feel really firm right now. So it won't be long before I water them. And then finally, I've got some Echeveria Malacos, and I cut these off of some other plants. So they have a shallow root system, but they are doing well. And then same thing with these Pearl von Nürnbergs. I cut these off of other plants, so they're doing well, and they have enough root system that they should make it. And then finally, these are some Echeveria Luellas, and I'm gonna put those in there too, although I'm thinking about changing them to these lower pots. Now they're both 4-inch pots, but I think I would like to keep all the pots the same height. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put them in these little box lids right here. That way when I water them, nothing will get on the shelf. But these are the ones that I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna compare them. I'm gonna show you what they look like every 3 weeks so you can see which ones look like they could be stressed, which ones might be looking like they're burning or stretching or whatever. We'll talk about distance from the light and everything also. And then two other things I want to show you in here. Number one, I want to show you something that I made, and that's only because I got a Cricut machine. So anyway, this is a glass that I made. I got a Cricut for Christmas, so I'm going to start making lots of cool succulent stuff. And then the other thing I wanted to show you were these beautiful plants that I got from my friend, and she sells succulents and was very sweet to give these to me. I don't know the names of any of them, but they are super pretty, and I'm going to be putting these along with a few other ones into the room with the grow lights, but these are not really going to be part of the experiment because I only have one of each. But I did want to show you guys those just because they're so beautiful, especially this one. This is one of my favorite ones. But anyway, don't know the names of them. These were the Pearl von Nürnbergs that I cut off and put them in this big bowl, but you know, I pulled out 3 of them. So anyway, thank you guys for watching this part of the video, and if you didn't have to scroll through to the other part, then we are about to get to the other part. So thank you for your patience. Okay, hey everybody. So this is the second part of the video, or maybe it's the first part of the video if you decided to go ahead and scroll to this part. But this is my shelf in the house. It's got 3 different layers on it, and I want to talk to you about each of the different lights that I have, and I'm going to start with the one on the bottom. So the one on the bottom, I got this from Home Depot. So this is called the Commercial Electric 2-foot shop light. It is an LED, and I paid about $65 for it, and if you look, it's got 500 lumens, and I'm so sorry if my dog is rolling by, but that's what they like to do. So anyway, the Kelvin, 4,000 Kelvin, okay? It is on here somewhere. Can't find it right now, but it is 4,000 Kelvin. I've got that in my notes. And a couple other things about this light. It does have 4 different bars on it. It is extremely bright when you look at it right now. And pretty wide, so it really takes up the whole part of the shelf, and this shelf is a little bit more than 2 feet wide. But anyway, it is linkable, so you can link it to other lights. In fact, if you look, you see this plug, I've got this linked to the light up above, and we'll talk about these lights in just a second. But it is linkable. It has a motion sensor, and I haven't really bothered to figure that out and what it does, because I really don't care. It did say that it had wires in the box to hang it up. However, when I opened my box, it was not in there. So if you look, I actually had to use some twine to hang this up. So anyway, don't laugh at me, you guys, but I used twine to hang it up. And then finally, watts, if you're interested, it's 58 watts. I don't know. I don't really care about the watts, like I said, but that's what this one is right here. It's flat, 4 bars, kind of look like T5s, but they're not. They're LEDs. So anyway, that is Commercial Electric, Home Depot, 2 feet, shop light, $65. So I've been pretty happy with it, and I will tell you that before I made this video, I did have plants on all 3 of these shelves, and they all did great. However, I really think it's going to be interesting when I take 3 plants of every species and put each of them in here, at least the ones that I have. So, and then compare the 3, because I think that will really tell us what's best and what's maybe a little bit more inferior. So anyway, the Commercial Electric was something pretty cool. It wasn't super expensive, and it did take up a lot of area, so I like it. So anyway, let's talk about these next ones. Now, this is actually 2 lights, if you look at it. So I hung them up, kind of did some stuff with some screws and some zip ties, but long story short, these are by Feit Electric. Oh my gosh, you guys, I'm so sorry about my dogs, but anyway, Feit Electric, it's F-E-I-T. Feit Electric, they are LED lights. They look red and blue, and they're labeled as full spectrum, and it didn't really say what lumens they were. However, they did have a thing in their in their handout that said the luminous flux was 1200. So I don't know if that's the same thing as lumens or something different. Now I have 2 of these hanging on here, so this is not just one light, but one light costs $40. You can also get those at Home Depot or on the internet. But anyway, they are also are linkable, like I said, you know, because I linked that other one to it. And a Kelvin 3300. So they did come with the cool chains, which is nice, because if you actually need to hang it somewhere, you could. And I think it would probably do better with one of those, you know, metal shelves like what most people use. But my husband bought this, so I can't complain. But anyway, wattage, it's 19 watts. Supposedly these are extremely heavy in red and blue, which is going to be good for plants. And these are actually marketed as plant lights. So we will see how they do overall over the next 3 months, and I'll tell you more about it as we go along, and you'll be able to see how they do. And then finally, got this big boy right here. Now, I'm just going to tell you right now, these guys sent me this for free because they wanted me to do a test on this light versus other lights. And so this is a Mars Hydro. This is an LED light. It's called the Mars Hydro T5 1000. And it is also an LED just like the rest of them. It did come with the hooks and all those other things. And it actually came with a couple other apparatus that included some pulleys, but whatever. Long story short, this thing is really cool. You can hardly look at it without going blind. However, when I use my phone, it's not so bad. It does have a dimmer, which is kind of neat. And there's so many other things you can mess with. So if you're really picky, that's actually brighter than what I had it at. So I had it super dim, but probably for the experiment, I will keep it super bright. But Mars Hydro, it is dimmable. It is classified as a full spectrum. Although, if you look at some of the descriptions, it says it's a white light. And the Kelvin, it's actually got 2 different Kelvin ratings. So I guess it's because there's 2 different color lights in there. So the Kelvin ratings are 32 to 4200 Kelvin and then 52 to 6800 Kelvin. So it's kind of got a range there. And this light is $139. So it is pretty pricey compared to the other 2, but we're going to see how it does. And I think it's going to be interesting to see how all 3 of these do against each other. Now, one thing I did want to mention is that when you're dealing with grow lights, there's so many different variables that you need to deal with, like how many hours a day do you use them, how far away to from the plants do they need to be. So in general, I've read that they need to be anywhere from 3 to 8 inches from the plants, and then they need to be on for 12 to 14 hours a day. Now, I will tell you, I turn them on at about 6:30 a.m. before I go to work, and then I turn them off more like 7 or 8. So I do keep them on for more than 12 hours, but I will let you guys know what I do when I do the experiment. So anyway, we will see what happens. And if we see a plant that's starting to elongate, we will experiment and we'll get it closer so we can see what is the ideal range as far as inches away from the plant that we need to be, inches away from the light, I mean. But anyway, long story short, I think this is going to be a really great experiment because I'm going to update you guys every 3 weeks on how these plants are doing. And I showed you the plants in the last part of the video. So what I'm going to do last is I'm going to bring them in here and show you what I've got, show you what's under each shelf, and then I will leave them alone. I'll water them when they're ready to be watered. I'm going to treat everything the same other than the lights. So only water things at the same time each time or when they need water. And then other than that, all the variables are going to stay the same. So want to show you guys my setup: Mars Hydro, Feit electric, and then commercial electric down here. That's the only one I actually still have the box for. But thank you guys for watching, and I'm really excited. I will give you one more little clip where I show you the plants underneath the lights, but give me 1 minute. Okay guys, so I've got my plants on each one of the shelves, and I just want to show you real quick. Here's the Mars Hydro. Got the Hearts Delight, Raindrops, Kiwi, Agavoides, Purpusorum, the other stuff in the back. You know, the, what do we call it? What is that? Oh, the Malaco, Provan Airberg, and Luella. And of course, same thing under the Feit Electric. All of them are the same. And then same thing for the commercial electric. And you will see some plants in the background, so I'm just throwing some other plants in here in some different places, but those are not really going to be part of the experiment. I just wanted to put them in there. But I've got each one of them, I measured it, it's about 5 inches away from the light for each one. So what we're going to do is we're going to watch them and see if anything elongates. If anything elongates, I'm going to change the height so I can change it based on where I've got them attached on the shelf. And if anything starts getting a little crispy, even with watering, then I can always move the lights a little bit further away. But long story short, this is the last part of the experiment, and I'm going to update you guys every 3 weeks and tell you how everything is going. So we've got these 3 lights, and I'm really excited to see how this goes because I think this may help you guys choose between different lights. And if you haven't watched this channel before, I hope you will subscribe. And if you have and you're already a subscriber, thank you so much. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Again, sorry I haven't made a video in over a month, but I'm so glad you guys are here, and I can't wait to show you more about this experiment. Thank you guys so much. Bye-bye.